Okay. I need... to load up the audio. Okay. Boom. There we go. That's a little bit better. I need to see. How do I sound audio-wise? Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. Turn the gain up just a little bit. Starting a voice call with Nick.
Hey.
What is up?
Not a whole lot, my friend.
I'm just making sure the audio levels sound good.
You haven't started yet, right? Have you? Or
I
you
mean,
have?
I'm just streaming it, but it's just like intro stuff. Like I'll clip it out and stuff.
Oh, okay. Give me like 3 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead and take your time.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
I am back.
I am not ready for this verbal schlacking.
What do you mean verbal shellacking? You made the correct predictions.
I
Most.
did. You're not gonna like my prediction for this weekend.
I mean, unless if you're correct, if your predictions aren't Cloud9 wins the entire thing, I mean they're just not the right predictions.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll get into it. You're gonna be wrong, but we'll get into it. Live now with the crossover podcast.
You stream it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put it up just so I have something to look at, sort of.
What's your Twitter handle again?
Oh God.
I forget what your ad is because it's not the Blue Jameer thing. It's
Yeah. Hang on. Let me find exactly what it is.
I always try and find the picture.
I don't even have a background.
Wow.
I don't even have a picture in the background. I also never tweet.
That's fine. I'm still crediting you as New York City's Cloud9 superfan. So
I mean, I don't even live in New York City.
you go to enough of it. You're from the metro area. That counts.
That's right. That's right. It's funny.
Yeah.
My biggest claim to fame on Twitter is that the Chocolate Rain guy once followed me on Twitter.
No shit.
I bet you can't. What's his real name?
Uh,
Oh, come on! Everybody knows this.
I know because I watched a bunch of like YouTubers react back in the day, and he was always on there. Shit. What is his name?
Furious googling ensues.
No, I'm not. I can even think of Justine saying his name.
His name?
Yeah, she even. Oh, what is his name?
His name is Tay.
Fuck. Yeah, that's it. Damn it. God damn it.
Does it? Does your when you have my what do you call it? When you have my profile thing or whatever up on the thing, does it show you when I mute?
So I wasn't able to actually get your picture to copy and paste there. And the Discord thing just has like the tiny little circle in the middle, so I found a perfect substitute if you look on the YouTube stream. I think you'll really like it.
Give me the link. I don't think I.
I'm
about
to tag you on the tweet, so it'll come up. You're gonna like it. I mean, you won't, but you secretly will like it as well.
Oh my God. No, I just was wondering if it showed me as muting, because I mute in between talking because my cats are really loud sometimes.
That's fine. I'm going to be eating McDonald's every time that you're talking, so I'm going to be muting between as well.
I think you should have names right above the profiles.
I should, but I don't want to. Actually, well, I could just add a quick text in there for this one.
I just think in general, here I am being like, this sucks, change it!
I mean, you're not wrong. The problem is I just don't put a lot of effort into it right now. Like, a lot of effort into, like, the back-end stuff.
Yeah, I got
you. Nameplate. Because I have both of our Twitters at the bottom. But, realistically...
You don't, but that's okay.
What do you mean? The Twitter's at the bottom. On the
bottom only right. Yours is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't care about mine at all, but... Which is ironic, considering I basically went to school for social media. But that's a whole nother can of worms.
Your university is probably looking back on you with shame.
They've begged me for money enough times. I don't give a shit what they're looking back on.
That is true.
Although, to be fair to those annoying people, I worked as one of those callers when I was in college.
Oh, so did my wife.
Please give us money, please!
I mean, I feel bad. Those people get work tirelessly, and all they do is just get calls of being told
and
no.
Get paid below minimum wage by some obscure law.
See, they actually got minimum wage, at least at our school, because it was part of work study. So they had to pay minimum wage. But that was I'm assuming that was probably the exception, not the rule.
Indeed.
All right. Let me swallow this mouthful of fries. It's going to be great me eating on the podcast. Let me tell you what.
You'll probably get another beer. Hold on.
Good idea. You're going to need one to drown out any TSM hate.
Okay, I have returned.
Alright, I'll kick this off. And then we'll formally get it on. Actually, let me take all my shit out of the bag first, and then we'll do that, because I'm sure everybody wants to hear a crumbling bag the entire time. How much of the games were you able to watch this last weekend?
Depends on which ones. NA, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched all 5 games, of course.
Oh, nice.
You think I would miss? You think I would miss Cloud9?
No, but I thought you might miss TSM Immortals.
Oh, I didn't really watch that because it was fucking just. Other than game 3, I think it was just such a blowout that I was just like, shrug. I don't care who wins.
Yeah. Alright, let me kick this off before we go into any details. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crossover Podcast after a 2-week hiatus due to my vacation and complications on everything around. We are formally back. Paul is still gone for another week. He was supposed to be here, but he got a little bit upset that TSM lost. No, he has some U.S. Army training thing that he has to be in for the remainder of the week. So next week he will be back in full. But for now, I brought in New York City's very own Cloud9 superfan. You want to introduce yourself, Nick?
I mean, my Twitter is Blumenshire, and my name is Nick, and I love Cloud9, and I have about $700 worth of their merch, which isn't a lot to some people. There are some people with the Stratus Superfan program they do that probably have way more than that, but I've been obsessed with them since they were Quantic in, I think, 2013, and that's that. I follow them pretty obsessively.
To put this into context, Nick actually asked for a recommendation for a steakhouse like 8 or 9 months ago around the area where I lived. And I didn't know he was going to like specifically go near me, so I didn't drop a recommendation. But I ended up seeing him on his date when my wife and I were walking back from Target, and he's on the date in a Cloud9 jersey, which I must say, respect the level of dedication there.
Well, I mean, thankfully she's my longtime girlfriend. I don't think even with my love of Cloud9, I'd wear that to a first date.
Oh, I mean, I'm married, and I'd still get my ass kicked if I tried to wear an Optic jersey to a date. There's no chance that would ever fly for her. But then, I mean...
Luckily, it was only a mid-level steakhouse then.
Westside Steakhouse was pretty good. I don't know how it was for you.
Oh, no, it was absolutely fantastic. I just mean, like, as far as, price versus fanciness versus, it was pretty casual steakhouse. They didn't look twice at my jersey.
You're not paying Michelin star prices, but you're still getting a quality meal. That's 90% of places in New York City, though. No matter where you go, the food's probably going to be decent, or they'll be out of business in like 2 months. But there was a lot of LCS action that has happened over the last 2 weeks. I have not gotten a chance to talk at all about anything since playoffs formally began. And what do you know? We're already locked into Worlds. And before we get to Cloud9 and TSM, which I'm sure we will bar on for a while, I do want to say farewell to TSM, who missed Worlds again, losing to Cloud9. How, for you, did that feel going into Game 5? Like, did you know it was a done deal by that point, or were you still nervous given the first 2 games?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if you noticed, I linked in our NYC LOL Discord. I didn't know this, but Playoff Perks' Game 4 and Game 5 win rates are 82%, I think, 82% and 84% for Game 4 and Game 5 in a best of. So, had I known that, I would have been a lot less worried. At the time, I didn't know those kind of statistics, and I was shitting my pants.
I was shocked. I thought after the first 2 games that TSM was likely going to close it out. But it wasn't even just the way that Cloud9 stepped up later. It was also the way that TSM absolutely collapsed throughout that series. That's like their Game 5 draft was one of the worst things that I've seen in a long time from any team in like a high stakes pressure situation. It was like, oh my word.
Yeah, I mean, the benefit of hindsight is really, you look back on that series and you could have seen it coming, kind of, if you if you were like keeping in context all the hindsight, like Huni in North America is a mega choker, and Power of Evil in North America is a mega choker. They've both choked every time that it's mattered. Power of Evil has never won a title in America. I don't think Huni has either. You know, it's not to say they're bad players, because they're not bad players, but if if you're, it's hard to keep that in mind in the middle of watching this series, and you're worried, and it's just like, but you look back and you're looking at all these statistics and all these details, and you're like, I should have been a lot less worried about this series than I was. But
You should have been, but yet for some reason there was still cause for concern. It's like Emily Rand pointed out on her podcast with Travis Gafford this morning. It was like, realistically, Cloud9 probably should have smashed that series if our expectations were in line with where it was coming into the series. Because TSM did not look good, even against their series with Immortals. And as you said, hindsight kind of is 2020. So like looking back on the series with EG, I guess you can't pull as much from that, given that they collapsed versus not only 100 Thieves but also Cloud9. But it's like, I don't know, like.
But the thing with Cloud9, and it was on this week's dive. I don't know how many people kind of got to go over this, but like Cloud9 just has this intangibility as a team that I love. Like when they're playing at their worst, they can get beat in the first game of the season by Golden Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
When they're playing at their best, they're taking games off of RNG, off of Damwon, off of they beat Team Liquid all 3 times in the regular season, and then lost to them 3-1 in a series where they got blown out, admittedly. So it's like Cloud9 is so intangible as a team. I think it was Azale. He said, every time I bet with my brain, I bet against Cloud9 and I lose. And it's just like, it's so I don't know. That's why I love them so much. It's so intangible. It gives me a heart attack sometimes, but it's hard to like nail down and quantify what makes them great or bad, even.
There's that volatility where it's like, I know a lot of people want like the safe bet for their team specifically going into playoffs. Is like, okay, we have a very high floor, but our ceiling is also very limited, which is what I would call like Team Liquid. Like realistically, I'm not sure how I think Team Liquid will do when we get to Worlds. I think they get abused much more than they do here in NA. But like with Cloud9, as you said, the lows are really low, but their ceiling is so much higher than everybody else. It's not a guarantee that you're going to hit it. And Azale, I think you're right. I think it was Azale that said it on the dive this week as well. He's like, Cloud9 could very damn well win this entire thing, and there's a very clear pathway for them doing it. It's just a matter of whether they actually execute on that or not.
I don't know if they could win Worlds, but
Sorry, finals, LCS finals.
Oh, okay. I thought you were referring to Worlds.
No,
Good.
no.
Yeah, no. I think there's no question they could win finals. Do I think it's something like 35-75, Cloud9, or 40-60 Cloud9? Yeah, I do, of course. But like that doesn't matter. It's like I think Blabber said it in an interview afterwards. It's on the day. You show up on the day. Pardon my language, but you show up on that day ready to fuck, you're gonna win. That's all there is to it. And they've proven every single. If you think about it, the regular season games are best of 1, but so is a best of 5. A best of 5 is just 5 best of 1s in a row. Nothing from previous, other than your like mental state, other than your fatigue, other than those 2 things, it's just 5 best of 1s. That's it. It's nothing carries over. You don't get some weird inherent advantage other than side selection, of course, but that's neither here nor there. You don't get anything else. Everything's a best of 1.
So I actually do want to touch on that, because that brings well into the topic that I've seen discussed pretty much everywhere. And somebody called into Hotline League and mentioned this as well, that the bracket was rigged against TSM because they got the harder side of things with Cloud9, with Team Liquid, whereas 100 Thieves only had to face Evil Geniuses to get to Worlds. Do you agree with that? Or I'm guessing based on your take as well that knowing you as a person, I'm guessing you're probably gonna say that no, just show up and win and problem solved.
Yes, but a little more nuanced. I think there's just no such thing as hard brackets or hard whatever or hard blah blah blah. For years I've been listening to people say Cloud9 got an easy group, wah wah wah. And it's like, okay, but everybody's goal is to win Worlds. So who cares what group you're in? You win the group, you get out and you win things. It doesn't matter. Groups don't matter. If you're a good team, you're going to win where necessary and you're going to do what you need to do. Period, no matter who you are. Brackets are so irrelevant. You have to win against the opponent in front of you, and that is that.
Yeah, and it's like, I think back to last year with Cloud9 as well, and obviously like that was the big, like summer drop off where they lost 2 straight best of 5s and didn't make it. TSM basically did the same thing this year, barring the one win against IMT. But it's like, if your argument is that the bracket was stacked against you, and you're saying that because Team Liquid was arguably stronger than 100 Thieves, by that same argument, and I think it was Mark Z that hinted this as well, it's like, by that logic, you also shouldn't have been the 1 seed. And you also shouldn't have got the choice that you're claiming that you deserve to get. The argument needs to either be one way or the other. It's like, okay, regular season matters, everybody is seeded properly, or B, regular season doesn't matter and you're arguing against your own case. Like, at the end of the day, just win your best of 5. Sorry you lost against Team Liquid, but at the end of the day, you choked your best of 5 against Cloud9 when you were in a clear position to win.
Not even that. Just at the end of the day, just win what you need to in the regular season to be placed where you want in the bracket.
Yep.
You know, it's just like, I don't know. I've never in my life subscribed to this whole, you know, we got an unlucky bracket or we got an unlucky team matchup, or if you're going to win the whole thing, which should be your goal, it really shouldn't, or even make it to the round that gets you Worlds. Your goal shouldn't be to avoid this team or avoid that team. It's totally irrelevant.
Yeah, if you're avoiding teams, you're already at a losing mentality.
Exactly. And I hate that so much more than anything else. I hate that mentality. You know, that's why I never fear whenever C9. Remember that C9 in 2018 was in a fucking violent group with, oh my god, they had Vitality, they had, I can't even remember.
Vitality, RNG, and who was the LCK
Damwon,
team? Was it Damwon?
I think it was Damwon, and they got out. And then they 3-0'd a Freak of Freaks. Because there is none of this bad mentality, oh, I hope we miss the bad teams. No, they got in a hard-ass group, and they fought their way out, because that's what winners do.
Gen G, by the way.
Win. Gen G, Damwon, same thing.
Basically, yeah. I mean,
Difficult Korean teams.
That year, every Korean team choked out their ass, so...
Well, not even that. That's the thing, too. People are like, choke, choke, choke. It's like, hey, give Cloud9 some credit. They 3-0'd a Korean team.
Yep.
You know, it's like, there's only so much you can take away from them before somebody has to be like, wait a second. These guys did something that's never been done by an NA team before. Make it to semis. That's why I'm like, every year someone's like, oh, TL sending their best squad to the Worlds this year. And I'm like, no team other than Cloud9 has ever made it out of groups, ever, except for when TSM was
that doesn't count.
Into quarterfinals in fucking 2013.
Yeah, like, that doesn't count.
The only team that's ever done anything at Worlds is Cloud9, and all these people that are like, oh, you know, blah blah blah, X team's gonna do so good, and it never turns out that way. You just have to win. The winner's mindset is all that matters.
I am really curious this year specifically to see what happens with Cloud9 at Worlds, but also 100 Thieves at Worlds. Because the distinguishing factor when Cloud9 made all of those runs was A, Sneaky was on the team, so there's the meme there. But more importantly, Reaper was a part of all of those teams. And we will finally have a Worlds run where Reaper is on a different team, but Cloud9 is also there. So we can see, okay,
Perk's there.
Well, that too. Was it just the players and the infrastructure that was there, or did coaching really have that big of an impact? Because if in a world where 100 Thieves gets out of groups and nobody else does, at some point you have to start having the conversation of, is that just Reaper coaching?
No,
at least in my mind.
In 100 Thieves case, I don't know. I don't know with 100 Thieves, because I like everyone in that team except for Someday. I think Someday's washed up.
As
I
much as
love the rest of
I
I
hate to
love the
say it,
rest
but
of
I
100
agree.
Thieves. I love the rest of 100 Thieves. I really do. Abadagi is extremely strong. Closer's floundering a bit, but he's performing. And then their bot lane is very strong. And I think someday is gonna, he's able to hold his own against American teams, but I think he's gonna get annihilated at Worlds.
I mean, I would argue he was not able to hold his own. Like he got smashed by Alfari, and like, yeah, we tried to do the methodology of leave him on an island and just hope that we can win team fights. But even when we did that, Alfari was still making a much more significant impact in team fights than someday ever could. That's like if
And Fudge
someday,
is on the come up.
oh I know, I was on record on Hotline League saying that Fudge is going to be one of the best players in the LCS by the end of the year, and I got roasted.
Here we are. Got most improved player.
Deservedly so. And arguably, I haven't seen his Twitter following, but I said that he needs to hit like 30,000 followers by the end of the
He's an
split.
absolute master shit poster, and I love him for it.
He's gonna hit 30K. He's at 29.9 right now.
He shit posts at every single person after he beats them.
Which
I
is
love it so
great.
much. But it's like casual banter, It's like, I forget, he beat someone in the regular season, and he reposted that picture of him with his fist between two loaves of bread. Just like,
Yeah.
It's good old smack talk.
I'm curious, do you like what's his name? Alfari's Smack Talk on Twitter?
I haven't really seen it. I'm only sub to I'm only following the Cloud9 players.
It is way more blunt, but I will say I do appreciate it. It is a nice touch to see somebody outside of Cloud9 finally stepping up and actually shit talking a little bit.
I think what's interesting to me with Alfari is like in spring, especially in spring semis and then again into finals, Fudge wiped the floor with Alfari.
Oh my god,
and then
yeah.
In the first game in the winners bracket, it was just like, I think it was team failure, so the matchup wasn't really relevant. But like, I don't know why it wasn't more relevant in the sense that I don't know why Fudge wasn't owning the crap out of him, which would have maybe gave some openings for Cloud9 in that series. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, sort of like, I don't know how to. He smashed him before. He should be able to smash him again, but everybody just failed in that series.
I'm curious to know your thoughts on Blabber specifically, because I know you have not been his biggest fan, and once again in playoffs, it seems like he's not. It's not that he's falling off, but he is not playing anywhere near the level and caliber that you would expect of somebody who was back-to-back MVPs.
Game 4 and 5, he absolutely was.
Yeah.
He came out of the game. But that's the thing. I think Blabber is, in essence, just a coin flip player, and sometimes that coin flips up real good.
And, like, here's the thing. If it flips up heads 4 out of 6 times in groups, that's all that matters, because you're out. But it's like,
right.
Can I ever see Blabber on a team that's gonna, like, run deep into Worlds beyond just getting out of groups?
Honestly, if Blabber could be so good on Rogue, even though Inspired is really good. But Rogue is such a violent early game team that I feel like Blabber would just fit right in.
See, I would go the opposite route. I'd say Mad Lions. Like, Mad Lions are so chaotic all the time that it's like I could 100% see Blabber blending in with that. Or even like Blabber reminds me of like not reminds me. Blippo just started playing jungle this split. But never, like, they feel very similar in terms of like how they want to play the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I like him where he is. I enjoy watching him play. He's a little crazy sometimes, but then there's some really dope engages where I'm like, I didn't know that was possible.
I'll like where Blabber is if he's lost on Saturday and then sitting at home on Sunday. I would love to see him in that spot.
You never know. Flip the coin. Take a guess. Find out.
So going into our matchup this Saturday, Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves for a spot in the finals and a spot directly into group stage. I know you're obviously going to pick Cloud9, but what's your honest feeling about the matchup?
3-2 Cloud9.
Why?
I couldn't give you numbers. I could just give you the intangible of perks. That's all I can give you on a platter.
What
That that's what happened in the CSM game. That's what happened. I don't know. The dude he's such a clutch player, and clutching is like this. You can't put a number on clutching. You can't put like you can't even put percentages on clutching. You don't even know if the player's gonna clutch until they do.
yeah.
It's just like, and he just finds a way, and yeah, I don't know. And he's been very helpful in restraining Blabber lately. I guess maybe they had some conversations and figured out how to play better together.
It's more of just like put a leash on him and pull him back every time he goes to invade and
Well,
get a
it's
scuttle
funny.
crab.
It's funny because they were talking about, I believe it was the EG series, and I think it was Vulcan at an interview, and he was saying, he was talking about how Perks always has to calm the team down and keep them focused and keep them sane, and then I think it was Latigris asked him who does Perks have to calm down the most, and split second, zero hesitation, he goes Blabberfish.
Of course.
So
Of course, it's Blabber that gets hot headed on it.
I don't know. It's you can put a lot of metrics on a lot of things. 100 Thieves does, I think, more easily. I think I think on a given day, 100 Thieves is like an 85 out of 100 team. If you were to just like rank them their strength or something, if you tend to take it out of 100, they're like an 85. Cloud9 is anywhere from like a 40 to 100.
Yeah.
And so the odds are 100 Thieves wins. My mind tells me that 100 Thieves is just stronger in a lot of roles, but my heart tells me that Cloud9 all the way, baby.
My mind is telling me if it is a 3-0 or 3-1, it's 100 Thieves. But there's no world where I see this going 5 games and Cloud9 doesn't win it.
The 1-2 power spike for Perks.
It is, and that's where it's
You
like
put that man down 2 games, he's gonna whoop your ass.
so I had this theory going into going into the Cloud9 TSM game. Every series prior to that, whoever won game 1 had won the entire series. Cloud9 was the first to upset that general trend in the LCS. I think it 100% has to be the case where 100 Thieves comes out, at minimum wins game 1, and then tries to end it either 3-0 or 3-1. It's not that 100 Thieves has bad mental. I'm sure that Reaper has helped change that. But 3/5 of this roster now has consistently choked in playoffs with FBI, Huhi, and Closer. Every time that we've gone against Cloud9 in a best of 5 this year, we fumbled it. And even dating the last year, like they were, I mean, last year it's kind of hard to count. Like they were close,
Did
but
100 Thieves play in the bracket before this?
we played EG, and we beat them 3-2, and then we played Team Liquid, and we took them to game 5 and lost game 5. So we've had 2 games go to 5, or 2 series go to 5 games.
100 Thieves lost 2 games to EG, a team that Cloud9 fucking blew out of the stratosphere.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you pause?
No, because of the way that we won the games. Like the games that we won, we absolutely smashed. The games that we lost, one of the games was definitely worrying because it felt like we were lost a little bit more in the mid game. But the other loss was just a good early game that snowballed against us, which I fully expect in most games in the LCS. At least it seems like, barring TSM, if you can get out to an early lead, teams have been able to close it out. So, do I think that's going to happen against Cloud9? I 100% think, like you said, in most scenarios, Closer and Abadage should beat Perks and Blabber in the 2v2. I think top lane is a wash. I think they'll leave it on an island again, and Fudge is not what Alfari is in terms of lane dominance. So that'll give Someday a little bit more ability to be more influential in mid-game team fights because he won't be getting smashed as hard. And I do think our bottom lane is legitimately the best in the league. So while Sven and Vulcan will be impactful, Huhi and FBI will just be better. The problem I see coming in is we have never matched up well against Blabber because for some reason every time Blabber plays 100 Thieves, he plays cracked out of his mind. If that happens and Closer gets behind, we're in trouble. Yeah. Except
and I
against us.
also, I think mid lane, just mid lane, not the 2v2 mid lane, but I think mid lane is pretty much a wash. I think they're both each as good as the other.
I think they're both passive in lane, so it's kind of hard to tell. Like neither one of them is really gonna like go out of their way to like really try and push it for a 1v1 kill. They're just gonna push their waves, try and control lane state, and then roam to other lanes, whether that's top or bot lane. In our case, it's bot lane, and in your case, it's top lane.
That's what I think the problem with this. It's not a problem with the game in reality, but like the problem with, like, I honestly think that all 3 lanes, like lanes, so not jungle, play at such a high level that it's all a wash. Honestly, like everybody involved can take kills off of each other and stuff, and it all comes down to the jungle and how the jungle influences the game. And like we said, if Blabber shows up ready to fuck, 100 Thieves is doomed. And if he doesn't, then 100 Thieves wins. I think it's all on Blabber, honestly. I think Blabber wins or loses on C9 the series.
I agree.
I think junglers control the game, the flow of the game so much that Blabber's ability to just, like you said, play cracked out of his mind is what's going to decide everything, the entire series. I don't even think what Closer does matters. If Closer plays acceptably, but Blabber is just insane, then they win. If Closer plays again acceptably and Blabber sucks, then 100 Thieves wins.
The one draft advantage I will say that I think we have is that you have to ban Viego against us, like without question. Because if you give Closer Viego, it's over. The dude is absolutely insane.
Have you seen Reaper's playoff special draft when he was on Cloud9?
I saw. Okay, so that's the thing. That's what I've been waiting for to happen, and it just hasn't. Like 100 Thieves drafts, barring Game 1 against Team Liquid, have all been really good. Like they're exactly what you would want to see going into their matchups. We got outplayed in Game 5 against Team Liquid, but our draft was still good. Like I have honestly enjoyed every draft, barring Game 1, which you could tell was kind of an experimental thing, and we lost it and we immediately abandoned it and went back to what was going to win us it, which was like the Rel Vayne bot lane. And it's like I'm still waiting because, as you said, Reaper can 100% chuck a draft if he gets into like one of those 2000 IQ moments where he really thinks he's going to outsmart you, but he's actually outsmarting himself.
You know, the funny thing is, did you happen to catch the interview with Perks talking about Game 4 and Game 5 of the TSM series and the draft?
No, I was able to catch the Sven interview afterwards, but not Perks.
So Perks in Game 4 straight up just told everybody, including Mithy, to pick him Syndra first pick. And that's fucking huge dick energy. Yeah. Like, you just pick Syndra first pick? You don't worry about the rest of the team? Not your team, but like getting counter picks? I don't care.
There's that element of trust that comes with it.
It's also like when he picked LeBlanc twice into Jizuke. That was screwing with Jizuke's head. Jizuke knows that Perks said, and I quote, "I only pick LeBlanc against worse mid laners." You know that's getting in there somewhere. That's getting in his head, and I love it so much. And in Game 5 against TSM, Perks, and I don't know if you noticed this, but Fudge waited until the absolute last second and picked Varus. I don't know if you remember that in Game 5.
Yep.
He did that because Perks and Blabber were arguing with Mithy that they wanted to pick Diana and who was Perks playing? Irellia.
Yeah.
They both failed on that in Game 3, right?
Yep.
And when Fudge had to pick someone, time was literally running out, and they were still arguing with Mithy. So Fudge just straight up picked Varus because they always pick Varus, you know?
Yeah.
And then they told Mithy, "We don't care. That's what we're picking. Deal with it." Yeah, and that was after Perks
absolutely
into Game 3 to pick the same pick in Game 5 when everything is on the line. That is such huge dick energy. I don't even the clutch factor. I have no words.
Did you
Like
see
that's
the?
just
Did you see the same
every
thing with
other
the
mid
LEC?
laner. Every other mid laner in the entire NALCS would not do that. They don't have the balls. They don't, and that's
Nope.
why I love Perks so much.
I also think that's a lot of like EU mentality as well, because you saw the same clip come out early this morning with Fnatic and the Darius pick in Game 5. I don't know if you saw.
It is a counter to Camille, though. Adam was talking about that, how it's basically a huge Cage in his own personal stream was talking about how there's big time counters. So I do understand that pick.
I mean, I get it from like a actual matchup point of view, but like the comms were, Adam says immediately when it's time for his pick to come up, let me play Darius, and Yamato Cannon and who was it? Yamato Cannon and Whippo were like, are you sure? Like they kind of questioned him on it, and he immediately comes back with a yes, pick me Darius, and without hesitation, coaching staff and everybody else is like, okay, we trust you. Like, if you're going to come in with that kind of energy and say that, yeah, I'm going to absolutely smash and win us this series with Darius, which he ended up doing, you 100% go with that. Because what happens if you tell that player no and, like, force them off the pick? You've destroyed the mental within the comp.
See, that's the funny thing. Mithy told him no. Mithy told both of them no, and they just ignored him.
Yep.
So
People don't understand. Like, have you ever played like a best of 5 series, like a either in a rec league or anything else like that?
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to explain the mentality as you get later into the series unless you've been in it. Where it's like, if you, especially as like the emotion comes and goes between like games 2, games 3, etc. When you get later in the series, and if you get that urge of confidence, you ride it without question, because it's that intangible effect where it's like, when you truly believe that you can do something and you have the basic skill requirement to do it, 9 times out of 10 you can probably do so, unless you're immediately screwing yourself in some other alternative, which very rarely ever happens. But it's like, Perks and Adam are just great examples of like, go with it. If your player is confident, even if they shit the bed earlier, go with it without question.
Perks, baby, give me that intangible.
Ugh, do you think he's worth the money yet, or does he still have time to prove that?
Yeah, didn't you see the math? 11 million's worth more than 6 million.
True. Forgot.
Plus, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't pay their fucking salaries. Okay, maybe I do a little bit with
I was gonna say
my merch purchases, but
you are contributing to the system that allows Perks to come over to NA, and possibly after Reckless maybe leaves G2, maybe Reckless will come to Cloud9 and replace Ven. Dude, that'd be something. Imagine Cloud9 gets a Reckless. Oh my god.
I don't want him. I want Sven.
Really? You
Reckless is sitting at home crying about how he didn't make Worlds right now, so why do I want Reckless?
You're telling me that, okay, removing like everything in terms of like current status, I'm saying like individual player, you wouldn't want Reckless over Sven.
I want Sven.
Okay. Hey, I respect the dedication. I'm telling you right now, I would not take Reckless over FBI, but I would take Reckless over every other ADC other than maybe Danny.
Well, yeah, we're both just horrendously biased for our team in particular. So.
No, I just think there's.
I would take Reckless over Danny in a heartbeat. Danny choked 3 games in a row versus Cloud9.
I don't think he immediately choked. He choked the final game.
It doesn't matter. He couldn't carry. When it came down to it, he couldn't carry. None of them could. That's what I mean. It's like, that's what choking is. Choking is you're unable to play at the level that you need to win. To me, that's choking. Every team does it. If 100 Thieves loses in the finals, 100 Thieves choked. To me, because all of these teams, to me, it stands to reason that the top 4 teams, I think, give or take, and then individual players throughout the league, they all play at the same extremely high level. And at the end of the day, if you don't perform when you need to perform, you choked.
I get what you're saying, I guess I disagree a little bit in concept.
I don't think
Where
choking is like sucking. I don't think of it that way. I think of it you didn't do what was necessary to win as an individual. It's like when they talk about solo queue mentality, you go and you look at the game and you're like you don't look at your teammates, you know? You look at yourself and you say, "What could I have done better?" Your teammates don't matter. You can't your fingers aren't on their keyboards, you know what I mean?
I
And I
I
think
agree to a certain
I
extent.
think every single player on the 3 teams remaining has the ability to take over a game and to take over a series.
So I get what you're saying, and I generally agree. But my problem is that when it gets to that high of a level, not only can anybody carry a game, but anybody can also lose you a game. So while like I think this is a perfect example. Game 5, Fnatic and G2. Reckless locks in Vayne. Did he ever at any point in that game have a chance to take over? I would say no. So I would not put that blame on him specifically. Some people
Sorry,
will
I
call
missed
that
what we were
choke.
talking about. My cat's being obnoxious.
Oh, you're fine. G2 versus Fnatic, game 5.
Oh,
Reckless locks in Vayne. But Reckless, during that entire game, never gets a chance to take over or win them the game like the pick is supposed to, but not by his own fault.
yeah, certain picks are more conducive than others, but
I'm not even saying picks. I'm just saying like situations in general. Would you still call that choking though? Because Reckless as the Vayne is technically the thing that is supposed to take over the game, which he didn't do. But in my eyes, in order for you to be a choker, you had to have been in a position and then thrown that away in order to be considered a choker. Otherwise, I don't
never in the
think.
position. Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, so it's like I can't really consider that a choke on Reckless's
I
part.
don't know if choking is the right word. I think just performing to the level everyone knows that they're capable of.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
I
I
think
agree.
I think G2 is like
But
Cloud9 in that respect. When they play Trolley, they lose a whole bunch of goofy, stupid games they never should have lost. When they play well, they annihilate everybody, and they goofed off too much, and they just assumed that they'd make worlds because their roster was better than last year's. You know, better air quotes without perks for some reason.
I'm actually gonna go the opposite route and say I think since midway through summer, they've known that they aren't going to Worlds.
I
Like
don't know about that.
I Reckless has to be one of the most honest people I've ever seen in the league scene. There's no way that he looked at their scrims and looked at everything else that was going on and the trends that they were seeing and didn't just stop and say, like, there's a very real chance that we don't make this.
Well, I mean, they were goofing off mid-split, but they got it together towards playoffs.
They got it
So
together a little bit, but like it never came consistently in. Like there were bits and pieces where you looked at it as like, okay, now we're starting to see some of the foundation go, but they take one step forward and one step back, and more or less just
forget.
stayed in the same spot.
I forget. Is that it for EU? Is that everything? Fnatic and G2 was the finals.
No. So that was the equivalent of TSM Cloud9.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
now
for some
Fnatic
reason.
plays Rogue, and then the winner of that plays Mad Lions, and Mad Lions have
Got
been
it.
looking almost I'm not unstoppable because they match up very favorably to Rogue, but Mad Lions is giving me 2019 G2 vibes where they could go into this tournament and get really hot and do some damage. So I wouldn't consider them a world's favorite. I still think there's 2 teams out of the LPL and then at least 1 team out of the LCK that should be considered favorites ahead of them. But realistically, I think for Mad Lions, expectations should be Final Four.
I don't know. Everybody hypes up all Western teams, and it's only ever fucking China and LCK.
I mean,
Everyone's always like, "This is the year that we're gonna go all the way," and we never go all the way.
Mad Lions choked against Damwon Kia at MSI. They should have been in finals. But the fact that they even kept it that close and they've gotten substantially better since then, while Damwon has kind of remained the same, and same with RNG, I would say that spells well, all things considered. Although I don't think anybody's beating FPX at the moment, but that's beside the point.
No, I just think it's so. I don't even bother predicting worlds at this point, because crazy shit happens. Remember when SKT dragged Cloud9 out of groups?
Yep.
Like, and that was 7th place, 2015. fucking Cinderella run Cloud9. Like, that's when I knew I loved this stupid team full of idiots.
But Meteos was still on the team back then, right?
No, that was when High came back and jungled,
Ah, okay.
and he didn't know
Yeah.
anything about pathing at all. But he knew how to play the game, and he knew how to kill people.
Dude, imagine where High would have been without the long collapse.
So fucking.
We might have had an NA team in semis well before 2018 had he been healthy. I feel like he would have elevated the status of the league beyond the point where. Oh, I love having him on the analyst desk though. Like he's way more blunt
Very
than
smart.
any other analyst is. But I don't know. You got anything you want to talk about specifically? I know we're coming up on the hour mark here.
I'm just excited for more good League of Legends.
You gonna be there on Sunday for the event?
You damn right.
Ugh.
Even if there's no Cloud9 to be seen, and I'll be wearing a jersey too. I ain't afraid of no nothing.
It makes me upset that we're not gonna that we can't see Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves because I would have loved you and me to have been cheering against each other that entire time. That would have been great.
Yeah, well, you would have owed me a lot of drinks once Cloud9 won, so.
Yeah, bullshit. We trying to place a bet on a drink now
Absolutely not.
for Saturday's game? Come on.
No, the finals are all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, you're
And
not even
once
gonna.
you honestly, once you get to Worlds, finals are all that matters. Like if your team doesn't make it, your team doesn't make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I immediately lose all. I only care about the finals. I don't care about. I have the theory, or I have the same theory as Perks. They asked him what he thought of 100 Thieves, and he said, well, I intend to face Team Liquid again, so sorry, 100 Thieves, you're in the way, something like that.
Funny, Closer said the exact same thing. So let's see who's right out of those two statements.
The only downside is for both teams, they've all got to watch each other's matches now. So the one with the biggest advantage is Team Liquid. So
I'd be curious to know who Team Liquid is scrimming this week. Who do you pick out of the two to scrim?
as Cloud9,
Do you think they pick Cloud9 or do you think they pick 100 Thieves? I don't know. Or like, who else is going to be? Because there has to be a fourth team that's willing to scrim.
I think you pick something like EG.
Really?
Yeah, one of the teams that's out.
I don't know if that.
I don't think you scrim TL to get practice for 100 Thieves when you play TL the next day if you win. I think that's how you.
Yeah,
lose.
but it's like that's also going to be the best practice to a certain extent.
Best practice. Eh.
It's
like I said, they can play at a high enough level that I don't know. But plus, Cloud9 can always just play their academy team. It's just like
that is
insanely good. Even though they lost to Team Liquid Academy in the finals of Academy finals.
Yeah, I mean, you could even play 100 Thieves Academy. They were third, and it's
Right.
like all their all Team Liquid Academy. See, that's the one thing that I will say. I'm curious to find out after all this, how much are these teams scrimming their academy teams? Because the final three that we have in the LCS are also the final three that we had in academy as well. So like you have solid academy teams that you can scrim against the entire time.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick like a objectively best team for them to scrim in my mind. I think everyone's so close that it's just like, if you scrim Team Liquid, you take the risk of them just beating you the next day after having, or 3 days later,
Yeah. I'm curious because obviously, Cloud9 has been the world's a bunch of times. Do
Every
you
single
buy
year except last year, I think.
Yeah. Do you buy into the entire world's process, like the song, everything else, or like are you just in it because Cloud9 is there?
I am in it in this order, I am in it for Cloud9, whoever's left in NA, whoever's left in Europe, and then I don't care anymore. I'll still watch whatever games are left, like the important ones, but in that order is how much I care about Worlds, in decreasing order, obviously. So, Cloud9 gets kicked out early or something. All right, I'm a Team Liquid fan now. Team Liquid gets kicked out. All right, I'm a Rogue, Mad Lions, Fnatic fan now. All three of those get kicked out. Yeah, I usually will choose a Korean team and just watch, but less interestedly.
I love how you specifically left out 100 Thieves from that example. Oh, if I'm gonna cheer Cloud9, great. Team Liquid, great. Nope,
Well,
100
I
Thieves, gonna
mean,
skip them.
my girlfriend likes Team Liquid, so I would just, I don't know, just go with them out of familiarity. Plus, they
Well,
have one of Cloud9's ex-players, so
true. What was
and
the atmosphere like at home during that matchup?
so does Fnatic. That one was, I don't know. She didn't understand how the bracket worked at the time, I think, so I don't think she knew that it didn't really mean that much. I don't remember. Or I think we both might have known that it didn't really mean anything. But
Hmm. Well,
if it
hope.
doesn't, like I said, I'm a fan of holistically looking at the entire playoffs. It doesn't matter if you lose early, if it's double elim, totally irrelevant. Every good run Perks has ever made has been through the lower bracket.
Yep. Wait,
So
in 2019? No, 2019 they smashed their way through, but that was the only year
yeah,
they did.
well,
Because in
exactly.
summer, I don't think they. No, summer. So there was two Fnatic G2 matchups. 2020 they went through the losers bracket both times. Yeah, you're right. Most of them have been through losers bracket. Wow.
Yeah. So that one wasn't really anything.
Is she gonna come to the event as well?
Nah, it's a negative.
Ah, okay. Nevertheless, should be fun. I don't know.
Oh, I'm excited no matter what.
I
Everyone involved is going to Worlds.
yeah, that's the that's the weird part about this to a certain extent is like previously it was like okay, you win, you automatically go to Worlds, and like in most scenarios, the second place team was also the highest amount of championship points
Well,
as
there's
well.
there's an argument to be made that the third seed is like not really going to Worlds yet, because play-ins. But
Yeah, but you should make it out. Like I don't see any of these three teams missing.
who's like the hardest team that's going to be in play-ins? I can't even.
LPL, 4 seed,
Oh Jesus
LCK
Christ, we
4
might not
seed.
make it. Jesus Christ, we might not make it out of play-ins, assuming we.
Hang on, let me pull up 2020's bracket to give you an idea, because that's going to be the same thing, because Vietnam is going to be missing again from Worlds this year, likely.
I mean,
Because
if you remember, Cloud9 lost to PGG, BSG rather,
yeah.
and PGG actually.
So, wait, is that really right? Only 2 teams? There's no way.
Yeah, they get out. Yeah.
Only 2 teams get out of this? There's no way.
Yeah, dude.
Holy,
Yeah, dude.
holy crap. Wow. Yeah, so you have last year teams that made it out were LGD out of China and Unicorns of Love from CIS. But where was the LCKs? Oh no, LCK didn't have 4 seeds. All 3 of their teams automatically went into pool play.
Yeah.
Because they were third, which means I believe. Wait. So by that logic, then the LEC in Europe should have all 3 teams immediately into groups because they're the third best region in the world. The LCK and LPL will both send 1 team to play-ins, which notably last year Mad Lions 4 seed did not make it. So there's a reasonable chance that China or LCK's 4 seed does not make it. And then you'll have Cloud9 or 100 Thieves in there as well.
Yeah,
Or
Team
will
Liquid
they?
can't be in play-ins, right?
I'm trying to. Why am I not remembering this all that? So FlyQuest and FlyQuest and TSM were the top 2 teams. Okay, no, we were wrong. Okay, thank God, we were wrong. First place in each group automatically goes to group stage, and then it's a 14 bracket, or sorry, 16 bracket with 2 through 4 seeds of the 2 pools. So NA's team would go, as well as I don't see LCK. So yeah, it looks like the 3rd seed or the 3rd largest region, your 3rd seed automatically goes into group stage. So that's not really a concern for us. For LEC, all of them will be in groups. For us, yeah, we'll have to play our way through, which last year was no problem, and Team Liquid almost made it out of groups as well. That was a very long-winded explanation to get back to one point.
Oh wait, yeah, okay, I got it. Never mind.
Okay, because I don't think I'm gonna get to talk to you at least on air prior to this point. I know you're bullish on Cloud9 making out. Do you see any world where 100 Thieves or Team Liquid makes it out of groups?
Statistically, no, which is a
Statistics are
solid bet on
not.
my part.
Statistics are nothing though.
Statistics are favorably Cloud9. Strong Cloud9 energy on the making it out of groups.
Agreed.
I think if any team this year, Team Liquid can make it out. I don't think 100 Thieves can, depending on their group, because I just think better teams will ring them up and down the ringer. But I think Team Liquid. Blah, 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 blah. I think Team Liquid has a shot. I hope Team Liquid has a shot, and I know Cloud9 has a shot because those are my boys, and they always make it out of groups.
It is going to be scary knowing that there's going to be an LPL team and an LCK team in every single group.
Yo, put me in group with SKT, baby. Let's get it.
I would love that.
You know Cloud9 gets dragged out of groups by SKT.
It also depends on who's in their group for the LPL. If FPX is in that group, nobody's beating them. Literally nobody.
Cloud9's taking games off of crazier teams.
I agree, but have you seen, like, the LCK cannot handle doing B style. They literally can't. There's no chance. Like, I don't even Europe. Personally, I don't know if anybody can contest it at the moment, but Europe is crazy enough that they could. But then again,
Cloud9 with that coin flip, baby.
Wouldn't it be
showing up on the day? That's all that matters.
How ballistic would you go if Cloud9 ended up beating FPX?
I know they're gonna beat FPX.
Jesus Christ. Okay, you're already in that mode.
I'm chugging hopium. I got my bottle of copium, but I'm chugging hopium.
I think we all got hopium at this point. I feel like last year everybody was very pessimistic going into things, but it seems like this year there's this general sense that we could possibly have a team out of groups. Whereas it's not, I wouldn't even say our teams got like that much better. But I don't know, the general atmosphere around it has changed for sure.
Understand that either, because people are like, oh, maybe we can get a group out, or maybe we can get a team out. Yeah, you've got Cloud9 going to Worlds. Of course you can get a team out. The only team that gets out.
Barring 2019.
2020, you mean?
No, 2019. They went to Worlds and didn't make it out.
Oh, and then they didn't go to Worlds 2020. Yeah,
exactly.
It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Which is ironic because your boy Niski is going to Worlds too. Another Cloud9 fave.
I want to see Cloud9, SKT, Fnatic, and a weaker LPL team. That way, it's at least somewhat competitive.
Wait, so who would the LPL team be then? Suning?
No, Suning's out, I thought. Let me check. Idea. LPL playoffs. So I know, obviously, I think FPX is still favored. But, okay, let's see where we're at here. Oh, God, yeah, FPX 3-0'd LNG. Holy crap. WE, so, like, either LNG or EDG. Like, throw LNG in there, sure. And then you have SKT versus Perks, which is always great. You have Niski versus Cloud9, which is great. And then you have China mixed in as well. That'd be absolutely amazing.
And somehow SKT and Cloud9 make it out, as is foretold.
The sad thing is I could see a world where that happens, though. Like, yeah. I could legitimately see that happening.
Fnatic isn't that good. Like, yeah, they beat G2, but they're not that good.
Yeah, agreed.
They're not like magical because they beat someone else in their region. You know, it's like a lot of Worlds. What's interesting to me is Worlds is kind of like rock paper scissors, like more so than intra team skillfulness. Like so, I'll give you an example. Like in your region, when you're playing against your region, it's generally the same meta among everybody in your region, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to Worlds, it's a bunch of different metas clashing, right? And until the meta gets really figured out in like quarters and semis, but that's too late because teams have already made it in or out, right? they're still figuring out the air quotes world's meta, but you're bouncing different metas off of each other, and it's a bit of a rock paper scissors. And I think groups are so volatile because of that. It's like your region has the right um, your region has the right meta to fight the region you get put up against, then you're gonna make it out of groups. You might even 2-0 them, do some crazy shit. That's just how it is.
I don't know.
That's how I've always seen it.
Regardless, I'm just ready to kick it all off. Like the
My
official
body
start
is ready.
the official start for me is when the orchestral theme comes out. And this year I'm gonna do a live reaction to it, and it's like, oh, like that. I will. That will be on repeat for a month straight, minimum.
Oh yeah.
But any closing words before I wrap everything up here?
100 Thieves sucks. Cloud9's gonna win on Saturday. Eat my dirt.
Kindly go screw yourself. My closing words will be: Closer's gonna take over the series, and hopefully someday has been forced to retire. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Truly appreciate it. Be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yay.
And the stream is ended. Let's go.